Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. We'll be doing a quick update on the fish room. I'm excited to show you guys some of the apistogrammas that I recently brought in. I'll give you guys an update on the discus from last week's video, and I'll also be showing you guys how I breed rice fish. So let's get straight into the video. So here are the discus that you guys saw in last week's video. Now this tank does look a little bit different than last time. I added all the moss in the back, and I also added some snails and stuff, so the glass looks a lot cleaner. The moss also really helped to kind of get rid of the green water. The water was starting to turn a little bit green, but the moss kind of fixed all that really quickly. I also have added a bunch more fish in here. These were in another grow out tank I had, but I decided they were kind of around the same size as the discus, so it would be a good time to kind of combine them. So there's some Apistogramma erythura, there's some German rams, some longfin German rams. There's also some Monaco redbacks that are a little bit larger. So not too many of all of those, and there's also some rainbows as well and some random guppies. So this is kind of just a random mix, but as you guys can see, the discus are doing really, really well. Now I did encounter a little bit of an issue with some of the discus. So last week I was feeding them only baby brine shrimp, but I figured, you know what, why not try feeding them decapsulated brine shrimp? So I did that for 2 feedings. I ended up losing about 10 fry or so. So just a note for you guys, don't feed them decapsulated baby brine shrimp. I think the problem with the decapsulated baby brine shrimp is that it expands within their stomach once it fills with water. So it's kind of like causing a digestive issue for them. So just stick to live baby brine shrimp or other foods. Don't use decapsulated, don't make the same mistake as me. But yeah, the discus are doing really well. They're growing really, really fast, and I'm excited to kind of see how they do. So here are some relatively new fish to the fish room. I got these, I think around a month ago. Here are some blue flames. So this one is the male right here. I do have some more in another tank. Oh man, the glare is really causing an issue here, but this is a stunning apistogramma. They're relatively new to the market. They're really, really hard to acquire right now. I was kind of struggling for a long time to get them, but I finally ended up picking up some. I've been having a good amount of success with breeding them. I have this one male in here and 2 females. So the females have been spawning, but I haven't been having the eggs hatch. I did have a pair of albino dancing angels in here, so I think they're kind of stressing out the apistos. But now I got rid of those albino dancers. I moved them to a different tank to hopefully spawn as well. So I'm hoping that in the near future, these guys start breeding. I do have some in another tank that we'll look at in a second that have already spawned, and the female's defending the eggs. So I'm really hoping that I'll be able to crank out a bunch of these guys. They're stunning apisto. They're probably my favorite, maybe the second favorite apisto in the fish room right now. So here is the other pair of blue flame apistos that I have. So they're in a 10-gallon tank. The male right there is on the left. The female's in the cave. She's sitting on a very large spawn. I'm hoping within the next few days they'll hatch and they'll start raising the fry on their own. In this tank, it's just RO water. I have some fluval shrimp stratum and a bunch of random plants in there, and no other fish. I actually think I might have some Finis pogvi. I just saw some random little fish swimming around, so I might have some random fry in there, but nothing too much in here. Now this female does beat up the male a lot, so I'm hoping that she does a good job taking care of her fry. I'm not really sure, but so far so good. This is her second spawn. The first spawn she did end up raising the fry, but there was only a couple. I think the snails got to him or something like that, so there weren't too many, so she ended up eating them after the fact. But this spawn is a lot bigger, so I'm hoping that there will be some more success with these guys, and I'm just really excited because this is a cool fish, and I'm hoping to raise a lot of them. So this tank over here, these are some Apistogramma abacaxis. Now on the left is the female, the right over here is the male. So these are another really interesting, cool apistogramma. I got these at the same time as the blue flames, so they've been doing really good. They have spawned twice for me now. So this exact pair, you can kind of see the male, and they're looking like they're going to spawn in the next few days. I had separated the male. He does beat up the female pretty badly, this pair. So it is a little bit interesting. Like some apistos, the female will beat up the male. Some pairs, the male will beat up the female. So it just depends from case to case. But they look like they're going to spawn again in the next couple days. So I'm hoping this time they'll raise the fry. The first time they ended up eating the eggs. The second time I ended up pulling the eggs, and the eggs ended up fungusing. So I think this time I'm just going to leave the eggs with the parents and hope that they do well. Now they're in a little 5-gallon tank, and I need to fill up the water. Actually, it's a little low, but yeah. So hopefully in the next few days, or the next time I update you guys, we'll have a bunch of fry from these as well. I'm not going to mess with them. I'm just going to let them go and hopefully we will have some more luck with these. So here's how I'm breeding the rice fish. Now it's going to be a little hard to do this with one hand, but essentially what it is this little container. Now I'm going to try to lift this container up, just show you guys. Now this is not that much water. There's probably 2 gallons of water in here, so it's not a lot of water at all. Now this is just a little storage container. Now you can see here there are 8 orange rice fish in here. Now these have been breeding really, really well for me in this kind of setup. I personally like this kind of setup because it allows you to kind of breed the rice fish in very minimal space. Now, if you guys have seen my fish room, I have like a lot of tanks, but all of them are kind of full of random fish. So it's hard for me to justify breeding these rice fish in a whole 10-gallon tank. So this is kind of what I've done here. Another benefit with this is they do like cooler water, so I'm able to keep them all the way on the bottom of my room, which means they're kind of at the coldest level. So this setup has worked great for me. Now the reason that I have Java moss in here instead of the rice fish breeding cone, I don't know what you'd call it, sponge things, is because the Java moss does filter the water. Now I haven't done any water change on this tank, and that's the only reason that is because of the Java moss. Java moss does really well even in low light. So this kind of setup has been working great. Now the one downside to this is it's kind of annoying to pick eggs out of here. I have to like pull the Java moss out, like individually look at each strand and kind of pick them out. But overall, I think this has been working really well for me. So I can kind of show you guys how I hatch the eggs next. So here's how I hatch the eggs. Now, this is kind of another really small container. This is probably not even a gallon of water. This is probably like a quarter gallon or something like that. But the rice fish don't need a ton of space or anything like that to hatch. So you guys can kind of probably see a few of the fry here. Now, they are very tiny, so it's difficult to see them, but there's a couple that are swimming around. Now, there are also a bunch of eggs in here. So what I like doing is just tossing all the eggs in this kind of a setup, adding 1 ram's horn snail, and then some plants. So that could be floating plants, that could be any kind of plant, doesn't really matter. Just to kind of build the microfauna so the fry, once they hatch, can eat. And then what I like doing is feeding these fry golden pearls. Now I do it in this exact same container. The snails will clean up all the excess food. And I kind of just like doing that as soon as the fry hatch. Usually I can't even see them. So I might have missed 1 or 2 that hatched the previous day. So once I start noticing that there are some fry, I will start feeding them golden pearls. This is the 5 to 50 micron food. It works really great. I have nothing but good things to say about it. So this tank here is kind of the next step in the progression for the rice fish. So I usually like feeding them the golden pearls for about a week or so, and then I like transitioning them to baby brine shrimp. And this is when the speed of growth really accelerates. Now you can see here there's a bunch of rice fish. There are also some various other fish in here, some apistos, some tetras, and some other random like CPDs and stuff. But a lot of the fry here are rice fish, so they do kind of swim around. And the one thing you'll notice is there are a bunch of different sizes. Now this is kind of just what happens with rice fish. I find they're a little bit worse than some of the other varieties like apistos and stuff, because the rice fish kind of lay eggs every day. Some of them are just going to be a lot larger than the others, and the smaller ones will get picked on. It's just a natural part of the process, and there's not much that I found you can do about it, unless you want to sort all the fish, which in my opinion just takes too much effort and time. But after this stage, when they start eating baby brine shrimp, they're really, really easy to grow. They grow really quick and fast, and these are kind of, I would say they're probably 2 weeks old now. So they're not old at all, and they've been doing really well. So here is the last stage that I'm going to show you guys of the rice fish in this video. Now they're just a couple weeks older than the ones that you guys just saw. I think they're 3 weeks older than the ones you guys saw in the previous tank. I honestly don't date the fish properly, so it is what it is. But yeah, they're doing pretty well. Only difference is they do have just been eating brine shrimp for 3 weeks longer, so they are a lot bigger. And yeah, they're honestly a really easy fish to take care of. Like, you don't need anything crazy to take care of them. They'd probably eat powdered food for a large portion of their life. They don't need baby brine shrimp or anything like that. But I've really recently been getting more into the rice fish. I imported 13 different varieties from Japan, so I'm excited to kind of focus on those later. Here's like a couple types in this tank. These are still in the quarantine. I just got them last week, so yeah. But you guys can kind of see their finnage is really interesting. These are called like the marriage kissing rice fish. And then these are, the black ones are a different variety. They're like, I don't know, they have some very interesting names. But yeah, I got 13 new types. So there's like 2 of them here. There's also red emperors. So those are the orange ones in this tank. I have a bunch more of those. And this tank I have some. These two are two of my favorite types. These are like the Phoenix. The orange ones are called the Phoenix. These are like the Hong OK or something. I don't know. They have some weird names, but they have really nice metallic patterns. So I'm excited just to kind of see how these do. There are a bunch more types. I'll probably make a detailed video about every single one of these types. But I will have some for sale in the future, and I'm hoping to really breed them. I haven't seen a lot of these varieties in the US before, so I'm excited to kind of see how they do and get them out there to everyone. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I don't have too much else planned. But thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments down below. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.